for handing this over to me. I actually can't believe I'm now in the possession of this podcast.
But you know what, Charlie? Out of all the people that we interviewed, you were the one that stood out.
Which is
And
nuts
I'm
to
not
me.
just saying that because you're sitting next door to me. I would tell you if I didn't think so. And if anyone, I'm a bit old and a bit lazy to be doing this now. And you are so brilliant at what you do on radio. And you're so funny and so genuine, all the things that I am, obviously, that you are the perfect person to take over.
I'll never forget. I remember bricking it though when you guys asked me to come on the podcast, because I was like, God, I watched you for so many years on TV. This is a big deal. And we did say, and again, we weren't blowing smoke up each other's backsides, but there was something weird within that chat that, I don't know, I genuinely believe we'll be in contact forever.
I totally agree. It's so weird. It's sometimes you meet people like that. It's only happened to me like 3 times before. That kind of like when you meet someone and then you've known them forever. Actually, Donna Ashworth was another person that happened. It's bizarre, and here we are. So, and it's funny that, you know, you watched. I find it so weird when people say, "Oh, I used to watch your show."
Your show was
to me,
iconic.
it seems so long ago. It seems so like decades ago.
But you guys started that whole movement of reality TV. Like, you know, you started makeovers, really, that whole generation. And lots of people have come after you two. But I don't know, like, you're iconic.
But I just don't. I mean, I don't see it. It's like,
this is the first kiss I've had in ages, by the way. Do you mind if I enjoy it? You're pleased with the new podcast today? I used to have a wholesome feed, my whole polos out of my mouth, so this is nothing.
Come on, darling, we got a big cuddle. Come on, we got to work.
Oh my goodness.
Come on, go.
Oh, sorry. I'm not. Do you know what? Actually, I'm going to put that wipe back. How rude of me to wipe that off. Keep that on there. But yeah, like it's mad. It's mad what you've achieved. Like in your time on TV and off TV. So I'm so chuffed that you've given this to me.
Thank you. That's really lovely to hear. But I don't. You know, I do believe it, but I don't recognise it.
Well, you blooming should.
I know it's bizarre, but I think when you've got, it's like some things are just bigger than work, and you know, kids, as you know now with your beautiful little girl. I remember messaging you saying that is the most beautiful baby I've ever seen, and she really is. And there are things in life which are so much bigger than one's career in terms of providing happiness, serenity, angst, trauma. You know, you can be having the most successful day of your life,
so true.
And then something happens to your daughter, doesn't it? You know, that becomes, you will drop everything. You know, Michael Jackson could be resurrected and you've got an exclusive interview with him, but something, God forbid, happens to one of your family, doesn't mean a thing.
Crazy world, isn't it? Life is mental.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what we're doing with the podcast?
Yes, tell me.
We're changing everything. No, we're not. We're keeping it exactly the same, but we're adding 2 things to it.
Okay.
So we're adding hand-me-down. So what would you hand down to somebody else?
Okay.
And then we're doing a style sprint, which is like a 60-second quick fire round.
Nice, style sprint. I love that.
Favourite question? Well, we're going to do it with you in a minute.
Okay.
My favourite question. Well, actually, I'm going to tell you what it is because I want to know your answer because you'll be brutally honest. So actually, let's hold that. Let's start the chat properly.
Okay, let's start.
Because now it's my turn to talk to you.
Okay, this is so strange.
So, in terms of your first clothing memory, like a memory where you was like, oh, you know, maybe you met someone and you thought fashion was for you, this industry was for you. Is there like a vivid memory?
There's one dress that I remember. Never looked at clothes and thought fashion is for me. I've just kind of fallen into it.
It's nuts.
Okay. But there is one dress that is like a fairy tale princess for me. And that was in The Sound of Music. I can't remember the actress. It wasn't Lana Turner who played the Countess, who Christopher Plummer married, the kind of second wife. And they had this ball and she was wearing this kind of yellow strapless dress with a kind of chiffon gauzy thing going over her shoulder, and it was a layer of, I guess it must have been Duchess satin, and then with this layer of silk gauze going over the top of it. And it's to this day the most beautiful dress I've ever seen, and I actually had that replicated for my wedding dress. I had 2 layers of fabric.
No.
And that's when I didn't think of it as fashion, but I thought of it as, it was more the aesthetics, and even at a very, very young age, I saw how beautifully it was made.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's always been more interesting than clothes, per se.
Do you think, like, as you've gotten older, do you feel like you've become more confident in, because I'm interested to know, obviously when you was on TV and you used to help people out and give them makeovers, like, how secure were you yourself? Were you really confident deep down, or not so confident, but obviously offered and helped other people?
That's the great thing about helping other people, is that you don't have to think about yourself.
It's a deflection.
It is an absolute deflection, and I felt the same way when I was pregnant. It was an excuse not to have to worry about how I look.
So same. And not only how you look, but just think about you. There's someone else to worry about.
Yeah, and the fact that, for me, always, it's been the fact that I am ever going to be judged on how I look is the most ridiculous thing. And I never want to be judged for how I look. And of course, you know, when Trini and I were at our height, we were judged, but that didn't worry me at all. It was much more, and I don't say this in a kind of a moralistic or, you know, I'm better than anyone else kind of way, but it was much more about, I think, probably how funny I was and how shocking I could be, and whether I could leave an impression with my personality, not with whatever coat I was wearing.
That's mad.
Yeah.
I find it so interesting that, I don't know, I'm trying to think back to when we first met. Obviously, this first time we met in person, but I remember, actually, I think I asked you this question, even though you were chatting.
Fucking hell, you're too good at your job.
Well, I remember saying to you, like, when you look at someone for the first time, like, are you assessing? Because I remember thinking, like, what am I going to, what should I wear to this interview? Like, what do I do? I'm like, oh my God, she's going to look at me and go, fly, that looks like a pile of poop. But it's like a hairdresser. I always feel like, if, I don't know, the minute you walk into a salon, they're probably not, but they look. So, are you conscious of what people are wearing?
I used to be,
but not anymore.
But no, I'm genuinely not interested. It's then I was much more interested in other people and what they were wearing, and it was exactly like that. It's like being a doctor and seeing what sort of clothing sickness was going on within that person, on that person. But I could see how they were wearing their emotions at their time. So if someone was very dressed up, you know, appeared very dressed up, and irrespective of whether it was shapes that were suiting them or not, they were hiding something. Their clothes were their armour. And if someone was, you know, I mean, this is kind of more obvious, but someone was drab and said, oh, I just don't care about what I'm wearing. You know, it's not important to me. Again, that would be something that was making them very unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a bit like being a kind of like Mystic Meg of clothing. You know, the clothes would reveal the person underneath. So for us, it was about changing that for women, so that it was kind of a dual thing. So if a woman felt confident on the outside, she would feel more confident on the inside. And if she felt more confident on the inside, she'd be a better mother, better employee, better boss, better whatever. So hugely impactful.
You and Trini are really good friends, aren't you?
Yeah, we're still really good friends. Which is funny because it's kind of the reverse way, because we weren't friends when we started out. We didn't really know each other very well.
So were you put together?
We weren't exactly put together. We put ourselves together writing for the Telegraph, and we'd met, and we didn't really like each other very much because she was like, ghastly. She, you know, thought the same about me. But there was obviously something there. It was actually a mutual friend of ours who put us together because she wanted to get more into fashion, and she came up with an idea for a column which I said I want to nick, and because she doesn't write, and said, okay, well look, I'll write it and we'll pitch an idea, And it went from there, and then through working together, we became best friends.
So nice.
Yeah, we still are very, very good friends. And it's so lovely. It's like her daughter Lila. I had Cece, my youngest daughter, had her 21st birthday here, and Lila hasn't been down here for ages. Trini's daughter, and she was here, and they all had to sleep in the cars. But I gave Princess Lila a sofa, and she was like, I remember every single thing about this house. You know, they grew up together, those
so
kids.
Nice.
So yeah, no, we're very
Special
family.
friendship.
Yeah.
Well, family, I was
Yeah.
just saying. How would you describe your style now?
I would say casual, but very casual. I don't know. Style is sort of the wrong word, I think. I struggle now. Yeah, no, I do struggle. That's why I'm always in jeans. You know, here it's easy at home in the countryside. You don't have to think. I'll just wear a pair of jeans and a t-shirt.
Struggle as in what though? What do you mean?
Well, like, if I have to go out, I find it really difficult to find dresses that don't make me look like a sort of dowager duchess, because I've got such big tits, G-cups, that they're huge, and then the arms have gone here, so it's really hard. But I've got, you know, I'm still got small hips and quite small hips. But I'm top heavy, and I feel really embarrassed wearing a dress. I don't like doing it. I don't like to look like I've had to try to make an effort. So I'd always dress down. So I'd say my style is low key dress down.
Obviously, everyone listening to this now, they're gonna hear the next few episodes, but it's fascinating how many women I've spoken to so far for the podcast. How many people over a certain age who just don't really know how to dress, haven't felt great about themselves, and kind of exactly what you're saying, really, dress down. And I think it's such a shame that you're not. That I would love to. I know what the answer's going to be, because I think I know anyway. But I would love to see you on TV dressing women of a certain age, because I remember my mum talking to me. Would you? Yeah, no, I really would.
Would you really? I think there are very few people who would want to see that. I know there would be women my age who would love that, because so many women struggle. I don't struggle. It doesn't make me depressed or upset, because I feel I've given myself the right to be a slob. Because I've been in that, you know, I can do that, and that's fine. And I know I can sort of pull it out of the bag. But I don't think anyone else would give a shit.
Oh, I totally disagree. I think there'd be so many women of a certain age.
Oh no, they would.
That's what I mean.
No one else would. Give it to us,
but...
No, but no one else would want to watch it except for, you know, 60 plus women or 50 plus women.
Yeah, but that's a lot of bloody women.
It's a lot of women, but where are you going to air that?
The point is, there should be a place for that. There should be a place for it. There is. You name something on TV now that actually talks to that age group. There isn't. And actually, I remember my mum saying, my mum's always looked beautiful, and my mum's had wicked style growing up, like, you know, amazing. But I even remember my mum saying a few years ago, like, I'd go out shopping with her all the time. It's funny how roles reverse, because my mum would always come with me, obviously, growing up. We've got a super close family, but the roles are reversed, where I would now go with my mum. And I remember mum saying, like, she doesn't know, she don't feel like she knows her body, she looks crap in everything, and she totally don't. But
see, I think it's more that there aren't the clothes out there, because what all those brands. So, like, if you go to Zara, which is really quite shit now, or you go to Mango, which is much better, or you go to H&M, there is stuff for women our age, and it's like these trousers, which they're like linen jeans, which I got from Zara the other day. I love them, and I just had them. I found this amazing lady called Ingrid, who's a seamstress who lives locally, and she can just tailor things to make me. So these were like straight down. They just sort of hung straight down there, and they're a bit stretched a bit, and they were very masculine. But I've just had them tucked under the arse, because my arse is still okay and my legs are okay. But so what I'm saying is, but all those retail stores, they market it to younger women, and so women of my age think it's not for them, but it can be.
Yeah, totally.
And then you got, you know, other people like M, which is expensive, but they do great clothes. But I'm so bored of fucking strike down another pair of trousers. Then you have other brands like Wise. You have Seth Samantha. What's her face? What's she called?
Who?
Cameron. David Cameron's wife. And what they do is that there's two. They are for women. You know, they're worn by women my age. The clothes model, especially Wise. They're gonna probably never allow me to buy anything there again. But they do some brilliant stuff, and actually one of my favourite things is from them. But there are these dresses, like everything is too high waist, which you really only a 6-year-old girl should be wearing. Or they've got like little flowery, and then little puff sleeves like that. It's insane. And then Samantha Cameron does the same. All her dresses are too high waisted, that's a design for children. So I get really frustrated and annoyed by these obvious design faults that could make clothing much better for older women whose tits do get bigger, whose waists go, and it's not a difficult fix.
Why don't you start designing your own?
Too lazy.
Come on, I'll kick your ass in.
No, I should because I know what suits my body shape.
Yeah.
You know, I know so well, and I will. You know, if I've got like next week, I've got to go to this big event, and I have to wear a dress. And I found a dress which actually wasn't too expensive, but I would have spent £2,000 on that dress if I found the right one.
Sorry, your dog's licking my foot.
Sorry. But it's impossible. And then that dress I'll wear and wear and wear, and so it's kind of like the holy grail, really. And that's where, you know, that's where most of the disposable income, you know, life is because life is so tough for young people with housing. Bringing up kids is getting harder and harder. They don't have money to spend on clothes. It's way down the list. Whereas women my age, who's maybe they have had kids or they're living off their pension or whatever, they might have a little bit of disposable income. You know, not designers so much, but you know, design companies or brands are really missing a trick.
Yeah, agreed. You should start your own. I can't convince you, it's pointless. Let's talk about something that you love to wear. Your comfort blanket.
Okay, I got it.
What's show us?
And this is what I wear every day. Not the same thing.
Where are we going with this?
These are my comfort blanket. They're big.
Come on!
They're bold.
Look at the drawers.
They're from Marks and Spencer's.
Oh, I love it. You've got your look at that!
And these are my comfort blanket. I'm wearing.
Have you got a pair on now? Do you always go for the nude?
There. Always go for the nude. No
Got them in
VK.
black?
No, only nude. And I've got hundreds of pairs. I've even got, my mum got me onto these. God bless her.
You're the first person to get your knickers out.
And she would always wear this, admittedly, when she was kind of 70. And I still have pants of hers that I wear.
No!
Yep.
Why are they so comfy?
Because they don't dig in. So I get them a size, they look huge. They
Do you
are
go up?
huge. So I go up a size. Do you do that?
Yes!
So then they don't
I got
dig
up
in.
too!
Yeah, they don't dig into your stomach.
Yeah.
They don't ride up your crap.
Yeah.
They're so, and I feel happy and secure. And then in the summer, you're wearing a nudie dress.
Yeah.
They're a bit like a little shorty.
Yeah.
Best thing ever. So those are my comfort blankets.
I knew you was going to pick something rogue. It's not going to be a pair of socks with you, is it? It's so ridiculous. More serious, but I'm very interested because I know you're an open book.
Mm-hmm.
You've talked very openly, you know, throughout the years about who you are, whether that's aging naturally, alcoholism. You know, you're very, very open, and I feel like there are less and less of, I don't want to say you're brave, so I'm making me sound like an animal, but there's less and less of people like you who are so honest that it's so admirable. And I wish we could all be a little bit more honest in it.
Do you really think that, Charlie?
Yeah, no, I do.
I think the tide is turning a bit.
I do think it's turning, but I
yeah.
think it's taking people like you to give the rest of us a bit more balls to come out and actually say what we want to, what we're thinking, as opposed to being contained, to be honest with you.
It's funny because I can be a pathological liar. But yeah, about myself, about other things. Yeah, I'm actually very good at lying and I'm very manipulative. But about myself, and it's not because, isn't it great, I'm so open. It's like, why wouldn't you be? It's hard to explain, and I do, but with the alcoholism, I think, you know, there was a very solid reason behind that, going public with that, which was during the pandemic. And there were a lot of women that were struggling, and I was doing online meetings on Zoom, AA meetings, and there were new women coming in all the time, and they were really struggling. So I that coupled with us being in a pandemic, I understood the loneliness that they were feeling. So that was more of an altruistic moment. And I'm actually, you know, alcoholism is a disease. You know, it's a mental disorder, it's a disease, and I'm not a bad person who's trying to get good by stopping drinking. I'm a sick woman who has an allergy to alcohol, and so if you were eating, you know, if you were allergic to nuts, you wouldn't eat nuts. And I think women especially are so stigmatised, much more so than men. For a man who's drinking a lot or drinking too much, whatever, it's different for everyone. But they're like, ooh, one of the lads, you know, have another beer. Whereas for a woman, if you're a mum, you're a bad mother. If you're a single woman and you're pissed in the pub, you're a slut. And that makes me very angry.
Do you not drink at all now?
No, I haven't drunk. I haven't picked up a drink. Well, my first AA meeting was 13 years ago.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, and then I had 2 spectacular relapses. And so I haven't picked up a drink for 11 years now.
Whoa, that's bloody impressive.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is. But it's like if you're in, you know, it's very, from the outside, it's like alcoholism is it's a very selfish thing. It's a very selfish program. But people who are in it, they know that it's just one day at a time, and you know, who knows, something might happen, drink tomorrow. So I don't look back and think, wow, I've done 13 years. I think, wow, I didn't pick up a drink this morning. I'd
love to have been friends with you in like the party era. I bet you must have so many amazing stories. I know I
can't remember most of them.
They're good stories. But you're a massive music fan. You love your music.
I love my music. I mean, things like there was the summer of Live Aid. That was an amazing. I basically moved into Wembley Stadium. We didn't leave because there was Wham's final concert, there was Live Aid, there was Bruce Springsteen, and that was just to see that at Live Aid, because we were backstage, and Elton, as people know, that Elton John is a very old friend of mine, and there was all this sort of competition going on, but in a very sort of, sorry, that's one of the dogs, jovial way, but it's like they were all trying to outdo each other with their barbecues, and Elton had AstroTurf, and he had a butler, and then George Michael had a blow-up swimming pool, and there was this kind of ridiculous kind of backstage competition going on. But this huge respect between the artists. It was, so the competition wasn't played out on stage when they were singing, it was played out with their backstage area. And there was so much admiration and respect for each other. That was really an amazing moment.
What's the best gig you've ever been to?
Gosh, I think so many, but I think probably Gorillas
Why?
in Brighton, because it was, I mean, Damon Albarn is a genius, and it was so loud, and the bass was so deep that it was a physical experience. And yeah, I think that's probably the best concert I've ever been
that's
to.
Pretty impressive.
And my friends who are musicians will hate me for that, but they probably won't hear this, so that's fine.
Did you get to see Prince?
I did actually, yeah, but in New York, because Nile Rodgers was a very good friend of my sister's, and I went to go and live out there with her for a bit. And there was a concert in Harlem. I think it was called the Heartbreak or something, the club, and there was Prince, Bowie, I think Keith Richards, Niall, and maybe Eric Clapton, and they all got off and played, and there was no one there.
No!
Yeah, it was just like, I mean, there were probably 200 people.
Oh my gosh!
That was quite amazing.
That's
Yeah. Oh, and Notorious Duran Duran.
Oh my god.
But because Niall was producing. Oh, and Al Jarreau. Do you know him?
No.
Oh, amazing. And he was there too.
Bloody hell, what a gig!
I mean, that was, yeah, but again, I was too naive really to appreciate what I was seeing at the time.
I've seen Prince, seen him twice.
But that's, yeah.
Just like,
I can't, I mean, when he died, I cried.
Same.
Everyone was going on Bowie, but when Prince died, it was such a shock.
I still can't get my head around
Yeah.
the fact that you'll never see him again. It's
know.
just, it's madness. One of those ones that you just, yeah.
He was mind-blowing, and he was only a little bit, he was so sexy.
Yeah.
There was something so raw
Yeah.
and sexual about him. He was incredible.
Let's get back onto your clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know Malfunction. Give me a good wardrobe malfunction story, please.
There was one I've had. Actually, I haven't had so many. I've often got things wrong, but the worst one I had was when I was going out with David Linley, Princess Margaret's son. I can't remember which one, if it was Prince Edward or Prince Andrew, one of them. It was their birthday, and it was at Windsor Castle, and there was a dinner, and I was wearing this beautiful Valentino dress that my father had got for me, because he was a real aesthetic, and I trusted his taste, and I was never going to spend that kind of money on a frock, so I allowed him to buy it for me. Thank you, Dad. And anyway, I was sitting at the table, and I had Prince Philip on one side, and Edward or one of the others on the other side, eating soup, and I felt Prince Philip's hand on my back, and a strap coming up, and then his hand kind of went round to the front. I thought, fuck off. And I looked down, and both straps on my dress had broken, and my tits were literally, I mean, they were very good at that time, so it was fine. They were literally open to the public. And then so I came in, and then a man came in, he got organised a safety pin, and it was safety pin back.
Oh my god!
I have no idea, I could have sat there for the whole of dinner.
Were they nice
with
and
my
upright, or
tits.
were the nipples in the soup?
No, they were spectacular.
Oh,
it's
good
like,
times.
I remember my tits were legendary. You have, what was it? There's a boyfriend of mine, and he went, his opening line towards me was, Susannah, you have perfect breasts. And that was it.
Did you repay the compliment? Oh my god, what a story!
Not anymore.
Let's talk about birthday suits. So, have you got an item of clothing? I was thinking
Yeah,
you've got
this
a few
is.
bits, but like
Yeah, this is Wise. I'm sorry, Wise, talking about your paedophile dresses for older women. But this is from Wise.
That's
Quite
banging.
recently.
That's lovely.
Isn't
Really
it?
nice.
And then you just shove it over
yeah,
anything.
that's nice.
So
Does
I
that
wear
go
it
with jeans? Everything.
and a t-shirt
Oh,
or a
that's
little black slip.
Oh yeah.
And it makes me feel, it kind of hides a multitude of sins. I would never have worn this in the what not to wear days.
That is a great look.
So this little leopard jacket is in a kind of, I mean, it's probably synthetic, so it wasn't very expensive, but it's like a sort of heavy silk crepe.
It's got little puff sleeves as well. It's so
Yeah, it's
pretty.
got a little puff sleeve,
Beautiful.
and then it's got little ties at the front. It's quite boxy,
It's nice.
so you can't see my waist, although it is there, but it hides my boobs, and then it makes my legs look nice and long and quite thin. And I just feel quite young. You know, it's like what leopard can go so wrong on a woman my age, but because the leopard print is quite muted.
It's a lovely. It is banging.
It's so
really
fab,
nice.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because you can wear that again. You can pretty much put it on with anything.
You can wear
Even a dress. I know you don't like picking up man's dresses, but actually a dress would
I
look really
could
nice with that.
wear, I could wear
You
it over
could.
a dress.
Or just with your big bloomers that you
My
showed
big
me.
bloomer, my bloomers. I haven't heard that word for ages.
Big up my nan. God
So
bless her.
that is my new favourite thing, and I got it about 4 months ago, and I've worn it so
Yeah, I
many times.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a genius
At
bit
what
of
point
design.
does it get overworn and you have to then go and fork out for
Well,
another one?
Because I don't go out very much, and when I do go out, it's with lots of different people. It doesn't matter.
Also, I'm
Who
always
cares?
one for. I've got this pink suit and I've worn it for a lot of TV bits and
that,
pieces.
not that pink suit. Oh my
Do you
god,
know?
I've seen that so
Oh,
many
don't
times.
slag it
Oh,
off.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
But I've worn it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I feel good in
You
it.
feel great.
I think it looks good, but
I bet it looks amazing.
But do you know what though? I'm the same as you.
Yeah.
I don't care about overwearing stuff because I'm like, also, why am I using stuff?
Yeah, we have to. We must.
And if you get a suit, see, I like cords because for
Oh,
me,
'cause
it's
then you
lazy
have to
dressing.
think.
It's
Yeah.
easy dressing,
Yeah.
simple.
But it's weird how you really do suit black, and I'm trying to understand why. Because normally you suit black if you've got blue eyes like you have dark ring around your irises, but you really suit black.
I always wear black, majority. Don't know why.
Yeah.
Just feel comfy in it.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's quite a good way to hide, like especially time of the month as well. You know, after no one bloody told me this. After having sorry, our producer is going to get an earful now. But after having my little girl, no one told me how bad your time of the month will be. So now I would not be able to wear another colour.
Is it like Niagara Falls?
It's worse than that.
Yeah.
It's a liberty.
Really?
Yeah. So I wear black a lot
yeah.
just in case.
Yeah.
You never know. I use one of the apps, but yeah, unpredictable.
God, see, I so don't know about that. The apps and everything.
The apps are good, but I have been caught out.
To worry.
I know.
Yeah.
And what a bloody blessing that is.
It is, yes.
Let's talk about hand-me-downs.
So this.
What would you hand down?
I would hand. Well, I've already handed it down to my youngest daughter, Cece.
Does she knit your stuff?
They both do.
Love that.
Like, and it's fine because most of the stuff I can't get into anyone. This is Missoni.
So describe this.
And this is classic Missoni knit, which is the kind of main colours in it are turquoise and green with a bit of burgundy and a bit of fuchsia pink, and it's kind of like a zigzag weave, and it's knit. It's kind of silk knit, and so it hangs really well. It's a coat, and it's very narrow and slim, and it's got small lapels, and she'll wear this with like a little crop top and a pair of jeans.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a really good piece of clothing, but she just makes it look so cool.
Yeah,
I couldn't even get my arm into the whole thing now. But so I'm really happy to see her and Esme. They both take stuff that's still a little bit big for them. They're my clothes, even my old clothes. But it's so lovely to see them get a second life.
That's the best thing, having girls.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, I can't. Well, I mean, I don't wish my little girl's life away, but that day when that comes, where we're swapping clothes, hopefully, that would be a good day. Me and my mum did.
Really?
Yeah. Me and my mum I'd wear my mum's stuff all the time. My mum had got some great clothes.
See, I can't swap clothes because they're like this. They're thin.
What size do you think you are?
Well, I'm not size 6 or 8.
Well, whatever you are.
No, I'm like a 12, 14 or even 16 here on my boobs.
Listen, there's bigger problems to have than big bosoms.
Yeah. Well, I wish I did. That. But so we don't share clothes, but they get a lot. They go shopping in my wardrobe, and I'm really happy for them to do that.
Love it. So the last part of the new addition to the podcast is the 60-second style sprint. So I'm just going to go through a load of questions, give you a quick answer. I mean, it is for 60 seconds.
Okay.
So let's do it. You ready?
Yep,
3,
I'm ready.
2, 1. Vintage or brand new?
Vintage.
Sequins or silk?
Silk.
Heels or flats?
Flats.
Dress up or dress down?
Dress down.
Jewellery or no jewellery?
Very little jewellery, no jewellery.
Partner buys you a new handbag, then you split up. Do you keep it or do you give it back to him?
Keep it.
Mini skirt, maxi.
Maxi.
Monochrome or bold colours?
Monochrome.
Hair up or down?
Down.
Trainers or boots?
What?
Trainers or boots?
Trainers.
Matching underwear or whatever's clean?
Whatever's clean.
Red carpet or countryside? Oh,
countryside. I mean,
what's the point of that? I'll just spit on that one.
You know them all.
Day look or night look?
Day look.
I can do these for you. Leopard print or pinstripe? That's a tough one for you because I know you've talked patterns, but actually you love stripe.
Probably pinstripes. I love stripes. Yeah.
Me too. Cashmere or cotton?
What, in a jersey?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, jersey day.
Cashmere.
Lipstick or eyeliner?
Eyeliner.
Oversized or tailored?
Tailored.
Hat or sunglasses?
Sunglasses.
One more because we're breaking the rules. No, stop that. Denim or leather?
Denim!
And I love you so much and thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for the chat today. Thank you for handing the beautiful podcast over to me because it's nuts. I honestly feel honoured and I hope I do it justice and I hope I make you proud, and if I don't, you'll be messaging me, slagging me off anyway, won't you?
I will, but I am just so happy that it's going to someone who thinks the same way I do and happy to let it go. But I'm not going to let you go, I'm afraid.
I'm happy.
I'm going to start sticking to you like a little limpets.
I can't wait. I'm dragging you to gigs the lot.
Yes!
Honestly, you're coming to a bloody festival.
I'm coming.
Promise?
Definitely, yes.
Okay. Thank you for everything. Bye.